Okay, strategy number 2 builds on the second strategy we learned yesterday. If you recall, we learned that if we multiply the length times the width, we'll find the area of the rectangle. We can apply that to finding the area of rectangles with fractional side lengths. So it's just a bit of a shortcut, I guess. And so let's take a look at this first problem right here, okay? So back to the same problem we started with in the first lesson. It's a 2-unit it's a rectangle that's 2 units in width and 4.5 units in length. So if we go back to area, the formula is area equals the length times the width. Well, we can plug in the numbers. Let's see, area equals, 4.5 times 2. And so one way we can tackle a problem like that, I know it looks complicated, but we can just multiply the whole numbers first, right? So if we just take the 4 times the 2, it looks like this. It's the 4 part of the length and the 2 part of the width. So that's this whole part right here, 4 times 2. And of course, 4 times 2 is 8, and there's 8 square units in that section. So there's your 8, right? And then, of course, we have the half times 2, right? We have the 1/2 square and the 1/2 squares, 2 of them. So we have 1/2 times 2. So what we've done is we've done the 4 times 2. And now we're going to do the half times 2. It's kind of like partial products, isn't it? We're doing each part of 4.5 by 2. And then we're going to add those parts together. And the half times 2 is 1 whole, right? So if we have a half of a pie and a half of a pie, that's 2 of them. So 1/2 times 2 gives us 2 halves, or 1 whole pie. And so we'd add up the 1 just like we did before, and we come up with our answer, 9 units squared. Don't forget the squared. All right, so we're using multiplication instead of counting with the whole number pieces, and we can even apply that multiplication to fractions using some of our math thinking skills. So let's try one more. Here we are with the same problem, the second problem, again, in this part of the last lesson. It's getting late. Words aren't coming so easy to me right now. Okay, so we have a rectangle that is, 7 1/2 by 2 times 2. So let's take the 2 and we'll multiply it by the 7, and we'll multiply it by the 1/2. Okay, so let's do 2 times 7 first. Let's see, the 7 times 2 first. So 7 times 2, that's 14. Thank you, reflex math. And then we'll do the 1/2 times 2. Right, this part here. And we just figured that out. 2 halves is a whole. So 1/2 times 2 is 1 whole, right? And so now we can just add up those pieces, the 14 plus the 1. That'll give us our final answer, 15 units squared. And don't forget you got it. Let's do another one. We've seen this problem before. Let's tackle it in a slightly different way, okay? All right, let's multiply. So we have here 4 times 3. Oop, that was messy. Let me erase that. 4 times 3 and 1/3. So if we multiply the 3 times 4 and the 1/3 times 4, and then add those two partial products together, we can get the right answer. So let's try that. 4 times 3, that equals 12. And now we get to the tricky part. The 1/3. I'm sorry, 4 times 3, yeah, that's 12. Now we get to the 4 times 1/3, this part here. And that's the tricky part. So we already did this outright as repeated addition. Multiplication is a shortcut for repeated addition. So 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 is the same as 4 times 1/3. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 1/3. And so we know that's 4/3, right? 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. 4/3. Now we got to turn that back into a whole number that we can add to the 12. So let's see. 4/3 is the same as, let's see, there's 3/3 at least in 4/3, right? So if I take 3/3, let's see, like here's a pie, right? and here's thirds. So 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, right? 1/3, here's another third, there's another third. That's 3/3. That's one whole. So I can pull out of this 4/3, 3/3. If I do, that leaves me with just one left over. Just 1/3 left over. So 4/3 is equal to 3/3 and 1/3, which is a long way of saying this is 1. 3/3 is just like one whole pie, right? Plus 1/3. So then let's go ahead and add that back to the 12. We're going to add, right? So I'm going to write it over here nice and clean. 12 plus 1 and 1/3. And that's 13 1/3. So that is square units. That is the same answer we got the first time around. So this second strategy really is just building onto yesterday's second strategy of multiplying. We stayed away from it, though, today, mainly because we really haven't practiced multiplying fractions yet, and that can get tricky, right? Multiplying the whole number unit parts is fine. 4 times 3, we can do that. We got reflex. But we don't, and we haven't, and we won't for a little while get to multiplying fractions. And that's why we stayed away from this strategy in the main lesson. But thank you for watching the strategy. I hope you learned something new. I appreciate all that extra effort, and keep on working hard at math.